Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today we're going to talk about what it really feels like when you had an unstable childhood or family or any dynamic that was not healthy and was not secure, where you felt like nowadays you really crave and want to be in a relationship, but you feel as if it's in the same time, it's the most scariest thing that you can ever have, because this is as well what I experienced in the past, and that's why I want to talk about it today, and things what you can do to make it better, to help yourself with this. So let's just talk about this. Let's get clear on what it actually is. The thing is, when you grew up with parents, for example, who were not stable, where you didn't feel secure, where you didn't feel loved, where you didn't feel chosen, where you didn't feel valued, where you felt like everyone else or everything else is a priority to them and not you. When you start interacting nowadays, no matter how old you are, you start interacting with friends or people, or in general even family members or even romantic partners. The thing is, you don't feel safe. You're not like, all right, it's so nice to be around you, it's so nice to speak to you. It's not that way. You interact with those people and you have a fear. Deep down, you have a fear of being seen. You have a fear of literally talking to them, because you feel like as if you're showing yourself, or if you're just letting your guard down, which you built during those years, that you're not safe. This person is going to hurt you, this person is going to abandon you, this person is going to criticize you in any way. And this is the problem in itself, that you don't trust people. First of all, you don't trust people. Whenever you interact with someone, even if it's someone like who you don't know, you put up a fake front that, hey, this is who I am, this is who I want to present to you. So you're presenting this fun, this loving, this caring persona. But deep down, when this person starts getting closer and coming closer to you, you're like, just stay away. Like, don't come closer because it will hurt. You really like assume that it's going to hurt to let a person close, because you experienced this in the past. And by having, for example, parents who were narcissistic, for example, or relatives who were abusive, or any in this direction, you didn't feel loved as a child, which resonates as whenever you do a mistake in adult life or teenage life, wherever you are, you don't feel like, oh, it's just a mistake. You feel like, okay, this is the part where now a fight starts. This is the part exactly where we fight over, or where I get yelled at, where I get judged or even beaten up from the parents or from the other people. And this is the problem as well. You don't feel safe. You don't feel like, okay, you can relax. And whenever you find a person where you can relax, where you can trust, where you can be yourself, and I say be yourself, I don't say like really be yourself, but where you can be calm, you're still like, you know how when a dog is sleepy, or when a dog is like tired, they lay their head down and they're trying to sleep, but whenever they hear a sound, they're like putting their ears up, or like opening the eyes a little bit and looking around, like, okay, what's the sound coming? Where's the sound coming from? This is exactly what people with this childhood or with this experience. They experience literally like whenever everything's safe and calm, they would love to just relax. They would love to have this peace, and they really crave this. But this peace does not feel so peaceful and safe to them. It's like they want to relax. They want to just sleep and just to trust this person. But they're so like attentive to everything that's happening, to everything that's going around them, that they actually cannot relax and cannot just like be in the moment and just enjoy the moment, because they're like, okay, if this moment is calm, when is the next moment when something is going to drop? When is the other shoe is going to drop? And this is the problem in itself as well, because as humans, we crave connections, we crave relationship, we crave friendships, we crave having other people around. We are not creations, or not human beings. We don't want to be alone. And this is the problem in its as well in itself, because we want to have so deeply, especially those people who didn't get this love and this like value, or this feeling of like careness in childhood. They want and they crave these relationships. They really want to have someone very close to them. They want to rely on a person. They want to have someone close, and they want this deep, loving, warm relationship on the one hand. Literally, they would do anything for it. And the reason, not even for it, but the thing is, you often can recognize these people. Yes, and I need to say it even if it's hard to hear right now, but they are most of the time people pleasers. Most of the time they're so nice, they're so soft, they're so not even outgoing, but they try to do everything so that someone who's talking to them or someone who's in their friend group or whatever feels good, feels safe. You will literally feel that when a person gives you so much space to just take it up and makes you feel safe, makes you feel seen. This person, it's not like the rule and it's not like 100%, but this person most of the time wants the same from you. I don't say they expect the same from you, but deep down they want this from you. When you do it to other people, or the way you treat other people, is most of the times the way you want to be treated by them. And this is exactly the thing, that those people who hold space, those people who really feel safe to be around and safe to talk to, and yes, most of the time they are quiet, they are outgoing, they are like, hey, I can help you. They most of the time they don't have any boundaries. Yes, they literally they go over and give 150% because they think like, okay, if I don't have any value, a person's not going to stick around. If I cannot like do something for a person, then they're not going to be want to be around me. So they have as well the belief that I need to do something, I need to have a value for a person. And in addition to that, it's not only this, but as well that they want someone to have this safe space for them because they are scared that people might abandon them or criticize them or treat them bad, and they like put themselves into this like not structure but into this like form and into this mold and be like, okay, now if I'm this, if I'm so sweet, if I'm so like little, if I'm so like not outgoing, if I'm so quiet, even because those people they don't tend to voice their boundaries, their standards, their needs and wants. Those people are like, yeah, I'm good with it, I'm good with it. Deep down they sit there and they're like, I can't do it anymore. And once a person reaches the level of I really can't do this anymore, it's going to hurt them so much that they say, okay, I'm not going to carry this anymore, I'm going to finally stand up, even if it scares them even more, because those people are really scared to hold boundaries. They're really scared to speak up for them because every confrontation, it's not like, or every discussion even, or anything, everything that they bring up, it's not like they're just bringing it up. It's not like, hey, I'm here, and this is what I want, this is what I need, and let's talk about this. Before bringing it up for them, they feel as if they're going to die to bring this up. And this is the problem for them. They are so scared to bring up anything because they're scared this person who they're bringing it up to will say, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave. And not even in this calm voice, but they're really scared of like being shouted and being like, hey, okay, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be in the life with you. I don't want to be in your life. I don't want to be friends. I don't want to be in a relationship. And this is most of the time the problem that those people have, to be honest. And this is like the one hand. They're really soft. They're really like there for you. They're literally in your life trying to help you, trying to be there for you, trying to hold space. But on the other hand, they're so scared to get people close to them. They want and crave a relationship. They want and crave really a warm home and having someone around them. But the truth is, they are so scared exactly of the same thing. And you see how it's contradiction. You see how there's like it's not working in this like not example, but how it's not working. How it's literally like the extremes. They really crave this, and most of the times, these are the people who can give the most love because they wanted the most. And they tend to overgive as well, overgive and overshare as well. But on the other hand, they're so scared, so they're going to find a million reasons that the other person is going, I don't say going to abandon them, but they kind of abandon themselves even before that person has the opportunity to abandon them. They are going to find a million reasons or even to shut down. So whenever a person will come closer, they will tend to feel anxious or even avoidant. Depends on which extreme you are, but they will be like, all right, you're coming closer, okay, I don't feel safe around this. I don't, yes, I want to have a person close, but it's not safe to have a person close. And even with friends, there will be always, because the people that I talk to, all of them said they feel as if there's one layer, a really deep one layer, where they're like, hey, I let my friends close, I let them close to me, I tell them things, I discuss with them things, but they actually never speak their voice, or their opinion. They actually never really say, hey, I don't like this or I don't like this. And they all say, I have one like guard, I have one like one wall. And no friends, no person, no one, no parent, no one is coming literally through this wall. And the thing with this is, because I have asked myself in the past as well, like, first of all, why are we, or why are they this way? And the truth to this is because of the way they were treated by the people who were closest to them. They had an example of parents and friends who were the closest in the beginning of their first lives, of the way they treated those people. If for those people it was an example, and they were like, okay, so everyone's going to treat me. This is why they're so scared of rejection, so scared of judgment, and that's why love to them feels not good. It's, yes, they want to make it feel good, and they want to make it all fairy tale and soft and warm, but actually they're so scared of it, to have it and to be in this loving thing, because love was never, most of the time in their homes, was never a good thing. It was actually not such a good thing, and more trouble and more bad and hurtful things. And the thing is, those people themselves need the most love. Yes, they need the most reassurance from a partner when they have one, but they need from friends especially, and towards themselves. Having such a level of compassion, having such a level of like self-soothing, because yes, they need most reassurance, they need the most love and the most comfort. But those people, and if you're listening and you think, okay, I kind of notice myself here and there, and kind of me myself, I am such a person. Start giving yourself the love and the safeness and warmness that you want from anyone else. Because yes, we can rely on people. We can think, okay, once I have a romantic partner, he's going to fulfill all my needs. He's going to be a safe place and everything. And the thing is, yes, it can be. And yes, it should be even this way. But the thing is, you cannot say, okay, those are my needs. They are 100% empty. You gotta fill them. Here's my cup. Please fill them. There are people who will do this. But that's the question. Like, if you really depend on someone else to fill up your need, is it really healthy? Is it really that you really love the person, or do you really love the person because of the things that they did for you? Do you love this person because of the things, or because the way they meet your needs? And I don't say it's bad that they meet your needs. It should be this way. But if you only love them because they are meeting your needs, and they are the first person who treats you good, and you're like, do you really like the person, or the things that the person does for you on a daily basis, maybe, or on a weekly basis, whatever it's in your term? And I don't say directly how to solve this, but what you can do for yourself is start making yourself feel safe. That in any relationship, you need to remind yourself that you are safe. As you're now getting older, and as you grow up, or are growing up, or already grown up, like we all are still growing. But what I mean is, as the day goes by, try to make yourself feel safe. That no matter what person is around you, no matter who is there with you, for you, whatever it is, don't try to rely on people to make you feel safe. Don't try to rely on people to make you feel loved, because you are giving your power away by doing it this way. By literally giving people the power to say, hey, okay, this is the way that you can meet my need. Yes, you're giving your power away. And if you know that this is the only source that you have to get your needs met, you will be dependent. And not only dependent, but you will fear this source. It's good to have like one source, and it's not anything bad. But if it's the only source, you will be scared to lose that. Imagine you would have $100 and you put it on one cup, and you would fear that you would lose this cup. But if you divide it on like many cups, like in the bank, for example, you wouldn't scared to lose one, because one holds only maybe $25 or $50. So you wouldn't scared to lose all of them. And this is the same thing when you depend on one person. Especially this person will have so much pressure on them to really meet those needs, because you're trying to give them a task that you actually should do by yourself and should actually fulfill yourself. And you will be sad and you will be angry when this person does not meet your need. That's why you should not looking for someone to love you. Yes, you should absolutely like to give you love and everything, but not like as the first primary need to, I want someone to love me so I feel loved, so I feel good. You need to feel good by yourself and making you feel safe. Making yourself feel safe is as well with friends, that whenever you're in an interaction, what means to feel safe or to trust yourself? Because feeling safe is coming down to trusting yourself. And trusting yourself is coming down to literally relying that no matter what's happening outside of you, no matter what's happening to you, you're able to handle the situation. And this is the main part, that whenever you are with whoever you are, anywhere, you need to trust yourself that you can speak up for yourself, that you can secure yourself, that you can make yourself feel safe or keep yourself safe in a given situation, in any given situation. Not only with a parent, but also with a romantic partner, with a friend, that you aren't afraid to speak up, that you aren't afraid to set a boundary, or that you are not afraid to don't have any standards, but you know you can rely on yourself. You know, hey, it's all good, it's all going good. I don't need to worry, because you don't need to control everything. I don't mean to say you need to control everything, because you cannot control every situation. You don't know what's coming up, you don't know what might happen. But you need to trust yourself, and being able to trust yourself that no matter what's coming up, I can handle this. I can handle this because I trust myself. I rely on me that no matter what situation will come up, I can make myself safe. I'm going to handle this. And this is such an important point, because when you trust yourself, you will start feeling safe in friendships. You will start feeling safe in relationships, because whenever another person will come close, you will not be like, oh my god, okay, how is this person going to react? Because you won't give your power away and say, okay, I only rely on this person, not even to make me feel safe, but you will be like, hey, if this person is going to say, hey, I don't like you, or hey, I don't like the way you did this and this, you won't get affected by this. This is the thing. You're not dependent on any person to survive, let's say. You're not depending on any person for their opinion. Your opinion matters. You matter the way you sit right here. You already matter. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to do anything. You matter. And if someone does not like your opinion, if someone does not like your boundary, if someone does not like your standard, or anything else, if anyone does not like your wants and needs, if they don't like them, it's not up to them to like them or not. It does not have anything to do with them, but they need to follow them. They need to stick up to them. And this is like your job to say, hey, this is my boundary, this is my standard, this is my need, and you need to stick with it. I'm not tolerating anything less in my life, because most of the people who experience a harder childhood, they tend to don't even know what their standards, what the boundaries, what their wants and needs are, because most of their lives they just looked at the outside people who are around them and be like, okay, if I don't have any needs, if I'm not complicated, if I'm so easygoing, then I don't get in any trouble, then I will get loved, and then my parents will be proud. And you create a false scenario, you create a false like discussion within you. And this is the thing, like, you tend to really create a false like narrative in your mind that when I don't have any needs, when I don't need anything, or not even need anything, but if I don't need anything from another person, if I don't want anything from another person, I'm very easy to go with and to be with, and everyone's going to like me, because we're so afraid, or people are so afraid that they're going to be abandoned, they're going to be let alone. And let alone means for the childish brain that they won't survive. This is the reason why when you feel the next time abandoned, or when you want to speak up for yourself, when you want to voice boundary or standard, remember, you're not going to die from this. Even if it feels like as so in those moments, because I know that it will probably feel like this in this moment. And with the thing with wants, needs, and standards, as people or as human beings who really experience such a negative childhood, and I don't mean to say, okay, negative childhood, but as people who experience such a childhood, most of the times you don't even know what you want, what you need, what are your standards, what are your boundaries, because you don't allow yourself even to think of this. So as you're watching this, as you're getting all these thoughts on this, try to really sit down, take some time for yourself, and allow yourself. And yes, I mean it this way. I mean this word, like, allow yourself to have standards, have things that you expect from people. Have standards where you're like, hey, this is the thing that I want to have. This is the thing that I need. This is the thing that I want to have in a relationship, in a friendship. Honesty, communication, reflection, whatever it is. You need to be able to communicate this, and not even to communicate this, but at first you gotta be clear on them yourself. So take some time for yourself, make yourself feel safe in this moment, and be like, hey, I don't say demand, but I can request anything. If you don't request it, you're never going to get it. If you don't ask for it, you're never going to get it. So try it out and really sit yourself down and write down what you want, what you need, what feels good to you, what does not feel good to you. Where you feel like, oh, that's so amazing that someone does this for me. And where you feel like, if a person does this or behave like this, I don't want to have them around. And that's perfectly fine that you say, hey, I don't like to have this person around. I don't like to have this behavior around. That's perfectly fine. It's nothing that you should judge yourself for or judge anyone else for. And literally define them. Get clear on this, because once you are clear on this, you can define it. You can be in the moment and even speak for them, vocalize it even more. Because when you're not clear on them, you will be in the situation, because I promise you that the universe will give you the situations. I promise you the universe will give you this situation so that you learn like, again, something like this that's not favorable to me, something that's not so nice, not so easy. Where you're like, I don't feel good being in this situation. I don't feel good being in this, whatever it is, you know? And especially with this is, once you get clear on wants, on needs, on boundaries, on standards, you need to first be the person who meet most of them or all of them. Once you have the standards and boundaries and wants and needs, you will read through them and you will notice how you read through the needs and wants, and you're like, that's pretty good. I like them. I like that I demand them, and I like that I want to have them. And as you read them, you will be able to see that you want to have them as well. You want to be them as well. You want to integrate them into your life, because the person who gives you this is also a person who wants this as well. Because when you have a standard of communication, you will demand it from someone else, but it means that you're, most of the times, hopefully, especially because some people just demand it but they don't have it, but if they find a person who has it, the person is not going to stay for long, because this is not the way human work. If, for example, you are a very good communicator and you want, most of the time you want someone who's as well a good communicator, and in the beginning if you say, hey, I want this but I'm not able to offer it myself, people are going to be like, you can learn this by my side if you didn't do it by yourself, but if you're not able or not willing to do it and to offer it after a period of time, they will be like, hey, I'm going to search for someone who's able to do this the same, because it's their standard. It's their like baseline where they're like, hey, I'm not going below. And this is what you should remember, that don't go below this, but be as well able to offer this yourself, because then you can demand it even easily. And then you know what it really is. And with this being said, when you have your boundaries, your standards, no matter if it's for relationship, for friendships, especially with families and family members, you need to be able to speak up for yourself. You need to be able to stand them. First of all, feel safe to write them down. Second of all, make yourself understand that it's not bad to have them. It's not bad to voice them. It's not bad to speak up. It's not bad to have those wants and needs. It's not, you're not a burden. You're not a bad person for having those needs, no matter how big or how small they are. And especially when you tend to communicate them with people, if people do not react that good on this boundary or this standard, you should not react to it. You should not take it personally, because it's your boundary, it's your want and need, and you, I don't say need to find people who will fulfill them, because it's not the topic of this person to fulfill your needs, but they should be able to fulfill them, you know. And especially with family members, try to make yourself feel safe that you're able to communicate them. You're safe and you're not going to die once you communicate them or speak up your boundaries, your ground, your standards, whatever it is. Because I know of past experience how hard it really is to, in the beginning especially, when you don't feel safe, when you're just getting started on setting boundaries, setting standards, especially family members and with the people who are closest to you, to say, hey, I don't like being treated this way. And I don't say it will resume, it will go up in conflict, but most of the time in your brains is when you speak up something and when you communicate, when there's a discussion or when there's an argument. Most of the time, in the beginning, an argument feels threatening. It feels as if we're going to die once we bring it up, or people are going to scream at us, shout at us, treat treat us bad just for vocalizing it, because this is what we experience most of the time in our lives. So this is your reminder that if you have your boundaries, and I know it's scary to sometimes vocalize them, no matter if it's a family member, if it's friends, if it's romantic partner, make yourself always remember that no matter how the person is going to react, that you're going to be safe and that you're not going to die for speaking it up and bringing it up. This is the most important, that even if it's a close friend, even if it's a close family member, even if it's your partner, even if this person is going to abandon you, because this might always happen, you're not going to die for them. You're literally not going to die for them. And this is like a tip, or like a little bit like an advice that I can give you, is accept any outcome. When you trust yourself, when you rely on yourself, you are good with any outcome because you know you can handle it. Once you have your list with boundaries and standards and wants and needs, be okay with any outcome. Like, accept everything that's coming your way. I don't say like in terms of this boundaries, and I don't mean this, but accept and be okay with any reaction. In the beginning, before, when you feel something is going off or you want to set a boundary verbally, actively, with a person, be okay with any outcome. Be okay with losing this person, because when you're in your mind and you're like, oh my god, what if I am going to lose this person if I speak it up? You've already lost, first of all. Second of all, you will build resistance in front of the person, or for this person. You will build not only resistance, but you will build anger. You will build not a good ground to build a communication or another relationship with this person, even maybe you have a relationship or a friendship or whatever it is. You won't build a good ground for it. And the more you will communicate or talk to this person, you're going to feel like, hey, I don't like talking to them. Or whenever this piece of like boundary or standard come up, you will be like, that does not feel good. And this is the question: how long are you willing to tolerate this? How long are you willing to tolerate this disrespect towards your needs? Because there isn't in a part of you that's sitting there and be like, hey, I don't want to be treated like this. I don't want to tolerate this. I don't want to have this, and I don't want to experience this. And this is the thing, like, why are you tolerating? This is your life. This is your reality. And you should make it a home for you. You should make yourself feel comfortable. In any situation, you should feel good in your life. And when someone's disrespecting you, when someone's treating you not good, and not the way you would especially treat someone else, why do you make or tend to make them feel comfortable and make them feel good and be like small? And what it comes down to is really that you don't want to make this person uncomfortable who's hurting you right now, or who's abandoning you, or who's disrespecting you. But this is the thing, or like the change in thinking, that you don't need to make them feel good. They will feel good because they won't feel like they won't think 24/7 about you, but you will sit there and be like, why didn't I speak up? Am I really not worth this? And you will be angry. You will be like, why are they treating me like this? Why do they did this to me? And this is the problem, that you let this disrespect happen. You allow this person to treat you this way until you say something and until you act upon this. So when you're okay with any outcome, because you don't expect anything, you don't expect the person to say, in this moment when you're not used to setting boundaries and standards, it's not that you expect the person to be like, oh my god, thank you so much for setting this boundary, I love it, oh my god, yes, for sure. You expect the person to say, hey, I'm going to leave. You're shitty, that's not okay, I'm going to leave, bye, or scream at you, something like this. So be okay with this outcome. Be okay with someone screaming at you, if it happens, be okay with someone like being not okay or leaving you or abandoning you, because you stood up for yourself. And if you abandon yourself by not speaking up for yourself, it's more loss than someone who's not respecting your boundaries. Because let me tell you, if someone does not respect your boundary, something that you communicate to someone, that you communicate to them that it's important to you, then that's not a friend, that's not a person worth keeping in your life. And you need to remember this all the time, that whenever someone wants to be in your life, they will listen to this boundary. They will be thankful that you set this boundary or the standard with them, because they will be like, this is a sign that you want to keep them in your life. You say, hey, this is the baseline. And yes, I needed to learn myself, because before that I used to didn't have boundaries, and whenever someone set a boundary with me, I was like, I felt it as if it's an insult for me. And I was like, what is this? Like, how do I handle this? But as I learned and developed my own boundaries, I was like, wait a moment. If I don't like you, if I don't want to keep you in my life, I'm not going to talk to you about this boundary. I'm just going to let you like tap in the dark and be like, when I say, okay, this was a red flag, or this was like my walls, my boundaries were crossed, I don't want you to have my life anymore, and they just leave. I just throw them out. And when you want to have a person in your life, you're going to communicate. You're going to make this effort and say, hey, this is the boundary that I have. If you cross it, if you go over it, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to keep you in my life, because this does not feel good to me. This is not what I'm allowing. This is not what I want in my life. And this is why boundaries are so important. And this is why boundaries are a good thing and not something to be scared of or be afraid of, or something that someone is going to judge you for. And they shouldn't. And they shouldn't abandon you for it. Yes, many people who will not like. Let me tell you completely honest. There will be people who won't be okay with your boundaries. As I explained, they will be like, you tolerated this disrespect, you tolerated this behavior. It does not even need to be disrespect, but if you say, hey, I don't like the tone, or I don't like the way you talk to me, I don't like the way you treat me, I don't like the way you interact with me. It does not matter what it is. If it's like the way, if you put on like your favorite shoes and they're like, I don't like them, or they're always telling you something. I don't even. It's no matter where it is, but when you decide, I don't like the way they are talking to me in this way, you have made up your mind. And by trusting yourself, by like in the beginning, really giving yourself a safe space, you know that even if someone leaves you, you're not alone. And secondly, you trust yourself and your, I don't say even intuition, but you trust yourself that if this is a boundary, if this does not feel good to me, then that's my thing, that's my decision. And you trust yourself that I can communicate this. You trust yourself that even if someone else, for example, an adult or a family member, a friend is going to come to you and be like, what do you mean? Like, that's nothing bad. That's nothing like, that's unreasonable that this is a boundary for you. Or like, oh, you have such a thin skin. Like, why is this hurting you? And maybe they won't understand it. But by you trusting yourself and relying on yourself, you will be like, hey, I understand that you don't see it as a boundary, that it's nothing bad for you, but for me, it's something bad. You won't be like, be gaslighted, not gaslight because it's the wrong word, but you won't second guess yourself. You won't tend to listen to others' opinion because you used to do this for such a long time, and now you need to trust yourself that if this behavior of someone else, of anyone else, does not feel good in your body, if it feels like I wouldn't do it or I wouldn't say the same to anyone else, then this is your boundary. This is the way you want to handle it. This is your communication. This is your standard, the way you want to interact with people. Because you always need to remember that the way you interact with people right now, the way you deal with people right now, the character, the identity that you have right now, is literally the identity that you that you need to have first of all in this moment right now. And this is the character, this is the identity where you would feel most safe with. This is what you need to understand, that even if you beat yourself up, because I talk to so many clients that say, okay, why am I too soft? Why am I not so decisive? Why am I indecisive? Why am I all like being stepped upon? And why do people treat me like shit? And why do people, I'm this soft, I'm this like listening, caring, I'm this being always there for people, and I'm always like taking care of them. I'm always looking for their good and for their health, and that they feel good around me. And that's nothing bad. The thing is, this is the person that you needed to feel safe around. If you would meet exactly this person, you would be like, wow, this is the person that I really feel safe around. This is the person where I can speak everything, where I can speak my opinion, where I don't get judged. This is the person where you feel safe. And why you hold this identity right now, why you hold this, not even identity, but why you hold this person right now that you are, is because you want other people to make them feel safe. And so start turning this identity towards you, because right now you're giving it to everyone else. And yes, maybe some people are not worthing it. Some people are not like caring about this, and they're like, oh, you're just soft, you're just people pleasing and everything. I don't say start people pleasing yourself, but start giving everything that you give to someone else to yourself first. I know you have heard this quote, this phrase, this quote, probably so many times, like, give it to yourself first, fill your cup first. But the truth is, with this quote, is everything that you give to other people, you want it basically to yourself. So start giving it to yourself. Start giving those qualities that you give to other people to yourself. And you will notice how good you feel. You will notice how amazing you actually feel by starting being so soft, so good, so relying, so like careful. So even like with little gifts, even with little like things, like even the boundaries, you will feel good to set those boundaries for yourself, because you are actually, and probably most of the time for many many years, hoping, wishing, and trying to hold these boundaries and like speak them up, or like just verbalize them, just speak up for them. So do it and notice how you will feel, because yes, I promise you, in the beginning it won't feel easy. It won't feel like, oh my god, that's so amazing that I set this boundary. You will be like, what now if this person is going to abandon me? And yes, you will be okay. Like I said, accept any outcome. Be okay with any outcome. If the person will stick with the boundary and will accept it, be like, okay, perfect, that's good, because this is the actual outcome that you want. But more likely, the person is going to be like, okay, I don't understand, let's talk about this. Or even be like, hey, not more likely, but this is more likely what we tend to expect of people. And this is as well not that positive way of dealing with it, because law of assumption is when you assume people to, I don't say abandon you, but when you assume people to react negative to your boundaries, react negative to your standards, react negative to your new being, they probably will, because you gave them a script to handle and act this way. So this is like the first thing that you need to, I don't say think of, but have in mind that I know it's scary. Let me tell you, I know it's scary, even especially the first few times, or the first, not even few times, the first 100 times that you will do it, you will be like it's something new, it's something scary, it's something not well known for you. But the more often you do it, you will feel safe within you. You will start trusting yourself. You will gain more confidence. You will feel safe around those people that I talked in the beginning around. Around those friends, you will feel safe, because you're like, hey, I can stand up for myself. These are my boundaries. These are the walls. And within these walls, because you created a safe environment where people treat you good, you can be soft, you can relax, you can have this persona who you want to have. And maybe once you feel soft, this is like another topic. Maybe once you feel safe, you will relax and you will be like, okay, now this was the identity that I created to make myself feel loved, to make myself feel valued and chosen. And now that you have given all of this to yourself, and I don't even say you have been a people pleaser for long enough, but once you have created a safe environment, now you can develop all the qualities that you want to have. Now you can look out for yourself and be like, okay, who do I actually want to be? Not who do I need to be in order to be liked like before, in order to be safe, in order to get love and everything. But actually, once you're giving it to yourself, you'll be like, who do I want to be? Who do I like to be? What are the qualities that I find good? Who do I want to be as a person? Literally, you will start like seeing so much more opportunities. You will have all these qualities and character qualities that you will see in other people. You'll be like, oh, I like how this person is so tough, this person is so brave, this person is so honest, this person is so this and this and this and this. And you will collect from different people all of these qualities, and you'll be like, now I feel finally able, and now I finally feel safe to integrate those things into my character. Now I don't need to be this quiet and this like not outgoing, not expressing myself, but you will be able to express yourself even so much more, because you're like, hey, I don't need someone to like me, to love me. not to someone to not abandon me. No, I don't care if someone's not going to like me or the new style that you want to have, or even things if you're trying like new hairstyle or something like this. You won't fear. You won't fear to get judged for it. You won't fear that you won't be liked for it. You will be completely relaxed and like, hey, it's all good. Like, I choose this, and if you don't like this, if you're not okay with this, this is on your and on your term. That's not on mine. And this is such an important game changer that when you stop putting all of this, I don't say attention, but once you stop putting all this validation and yes, especially attention onto other people, once you stop depending on those attention, on this attention and need from other people for this validation, you will feel so much lighter, you will feel so much better because you don't, once you don't need anything from anyone. And I literally mean don't need, because as you're sitting right now, you don't need any validation, you don't need any attention, you don't need any love. Yes, it's nice to have, but you should not be dependent on it like if it's life or death. But most of the times we are dependent like if it's life or death, living or dying. And once you get unattached to other people, you will be able to communicate everything that you want to say. You will be able to communicate any opinion that you have, any statement, anything. You will start pursuing more dreams and literally pursuing dreams, not just like, oh yeah, I'm pursuing my dream. You will be like, hey, if I want to do this, if I want to start a business, if I want to start a company, if I want to start this, if I want to start a new hobby, if I want to have a new style, have a new hairstyle, whatever it is, I want to try this out, I want to speak in this way, I want to just speak Spanish all day, for example. You will start doing it because you don't need anyone else to approve this and say, you're good, it's okay, it's allowed. You will approve yourself and be like, okay, if I want this, why do I want this? Okay, does it make sense for me? Do I want to do this? Yes, 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 or maybe no. And then you decide if you want to do this or not, but you're not depending on anyone's approval on saying it's good to do this or it's not good to do this. And you will realistically look at this because most of the times when we're in like a survival mode, we don't tend to look realistically at things. Let me be completely honest with you. We don't tend to look realistically because this is what I've experienced with many clients over like the last couple of years or even last couple of months, especially is when they're in the survival mode, when they have a decision to make, they don't tend to answer or they tend to not see the decision realistically, or they don't tend to make a decision realistically because they tend to be like, hey, I want this, it's either get it or don't get it, like it's either yes or no. And I don't mean it's wrong to say yes or no, but the reason for it, if I ask them, hey, why do you want this, they have different reasonings, which is not bad, but most of the time it's like, I want to numb a feeling, I want to get rid of, I want to have it now, I want to somehow run away from, I don't say the problems, but somehow to numb or run away from these problems, especially by things like mm, starting a new hobby, starting something else, starting like a new way of living, but not like in a way that's fulfilled them, but in a way that's like less anxiety or less like what they scare less. For example, I had two clients in the last months who were like, okay, now I want to have a dog. Now it's going to cure me. I'm going to feel perfect. I'm going to feel amazing. I just want a dog. And literally, I asked them, hey, do you really want this? Are you sure that you want to have this? And they were like, yes. I'm like, are you able that you can pay for this? Are you able that you have the time for this? That you have the possibilities, all the resources for this thing that you want to have? And it's not only, for example, the dog, the example of the dog, but like, I want to have the car, I want to have this, this, and this. Like the big things where you're like, hey, I want to have this. And it's not like, okay, does it make sense to get this right now? Does it actually make sense because I want this? Or do I want this because I'm trying to fill a different need? Which, don't get me wrong, it's not bad to feel a need, but it's not good if you just buy it so you can make yourself feel this way. It's like, once I have this car, then I'm going to feel enough. Once I have this thing or this person, then I'm going to feel enough, then I'm going to feel loved, then I'm going to feel valued. Because the problem is with this, and most of them really experience this, is they don't, first of all, once they get this thing, it's not working out. It's not getting them the feeling that they wanted to have. Yes, maybe in the beginning, but as soon as it's like, the high state of, oh my god, finally I get this, drops, and they're like, internally I still don't feel good. Internally it has nothing changed, because it's not about the thing or the person, it's about you. And second of all, most of them tend to do it more impulsively, like, yes, to get their needs met, but more like impulsively, like, oh no, I want it now because elsewhere it's not going to ever happen. When I'm like, you can still buy this car or this dog or this whatever it is, or you can still achieve this on a later period where you really want it, because of pure intention, because of you want to be around this person, you want to be around this thing or object or whatever it is, because you choose to. Whenever you need a person, whenever you need a thing to make you feel a certain way, this is when you're dependent on it. This is when you have codependence towards this thing. And literally people are trying to make themselves feel better. But let me tell you, you won't feel better with this thing. You will feel, even with a loving partner coming, like making the loop and coming back to the like beginning phrases. Yes, we want a specific person. Yes, we want a partner. Yes, we want someone to make us feel loved and safe and warm. But let me tell you, people who grew up in like unstable childhoods, unstable families, most of the time when we have a partner, when we have someone close to us, we don't feel safe. And yes, I had to example myself, so I know what I'm talking about. And the thing is, once you get into this, once you have this person, you won't just instantly feel safe. You will feel like, oh my god, what if the person is going to lose me? What if I'm going to lose the person this way? What if this person going to leave? What if this person going to abandon me? What if? And not probably the most best what ifs, but literally the most like surviving what ifs. And it's not going to make you feel loved. Yes, in the beginning it will make you feel loved, and especially in the end or like during middle, there are probably times where you will feel loved by it. But as with the example of the dog, for example, or the car, it won't change anything if you do not change. If you don't feel worthy, if you don't feel loved, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel happy, this person is not going to make you feel. Yes, they can like add a little bit of it. They can fill a little bit your cup more. Like in the beginning, you're not giving them an empty cup and be like, hey, please fill it up for me. That's not what we're going to do. But most of the times, it's just like you're filling your cup by yourself, and then this person is going to be a little, like giving it a little, or even like 10%, 15%, but it's already very much, so you don't need it. You already filled your cup, so it's nice to have this person. And what the good thing about this is, once you have met all your needs and you decide for a person, this is exactly the key word here, decide. You decide that you want this person, because this person does not do anything for you. You don't need anything. You don't need this person to show up a certain way. You don't need anything from this person. And you will freely deciding if you want to be with this person. This is as well, many people ask me like, hey, if I love myself, what if I don't want my person anymore? If I love myself, if I work on myself, what if I don't want my person anymore? Then I ask them, why do you want them now? Because I want to feel loved, because I want to feel valued, chosen. Like, this is the thing. Once you lose the attachment, not even the attachment, but once you lose the need for them, you can freely and openly decide if you want to have this person in your life. You can decide and you can choose this person, because they make you even better than you are by yourself. Yes, but they make you not like the best version. They're like, yeah, a cherry on the cake. They're not the whole cake. And this is what you need to understand. If you choose someone freely because of the person they are, not because of the things they do for you. If you say, okay, the person is not doing X, Y, Z for me, you can discuss it and you can like ask yourself if this is really a need and a want from you, or if it's like, I really need something I really need them to fill up something. And this is a huge difference, because you cannot expect someone else to fill all your needs from the beginning, from the top, because if you haven't, this is really crucial, this is really important, if you haven't filled up your cup, this is why it's like so important to talk about. If you haven't filled up your cup, most of the times, if we give this cup to someone else, it's empty. It has a hole in it, because we're not used to getting it filled because we didn't feel it ourselves. We feel empty on the inside. So no matter how much love this person is going to give us, we're not going to feel love. We're not going to feel like, oh my god, it's amazing. We will always feel like that's not enough. That's not even worth it, but that's not enough. That's too little. That's not enough. I don't feel worthy of it. It's not good. It's not good. And this whole love and this whole intention, this whole everything that this person is going to give you is going to drop through this hole, and your cup will still be empty. And you will be standing there like, my cup is empty. That's not enough. Give me more. Give me more. And the person is going at one point maybe to say, hey, I'm sorry, but I cannot give you anymore, because no matter how much I give you, it's always not enough. And you will feel empty, and this person is going to feel empty, and you both won't be happy. This is the thing. This is the way many relationships, even nowadays, are still working or are still going. That a person depends on another person to meet their needs, to do something for them. And once they don't have the need anymore, once they don't need anything, they're like, what should I do with this person? Because now I have no benefit from them. And once you don't have, I don't say you need to choose someone where you don't have a benefit from. I don't even mean to say that. But look out for people where you don't need them. It's nice they've like adding like 1% to your whole cup, which is filled by yourself. But ask yourself, like, if this person does not benefit me in any way, like not in a needing beneficial, not in a like does a person benefit me in any way, but does this person, like, do I need this person? If the answer is no, then you can choose to look at this person and be like, okay, what do I, like, yes, what is the benefit of this relationship? Yes, sure, for sure, like, how can I build a life? How can I build a family? Whatever it is that you want to have with this person, or even with a friend. But as soon as you answer the question with, yes, I need something from them. No, I cannot live without them. Ask yourself, what do you need from them? What do you want them to give you? And then give it to yourself. And then reevaluate if you want to be with this person truly, freely, because if they at some point will stop giving you something or anything, if they at some point will stop meeting your need and you haven't met it yourself, you will feel disappointed. You will be like, what's happening? Why have they stopped filling my needs? And you will feel bad. You will start arguing with them. They will start arguing with you, and you will feel even more empty. And this is the thing, like, stop depending on other people, because by that you're building a life full of like depending on someone else. You're building your life fully on, hey, where can I meet these needs? And you will start looking to people. Imagine you're so hungry. When you're hungry and everyone else has like something to eat, you will go to everyone else and be like, can I have a bite? Can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have this? And I don't say you wouldn't eat something with mold. Probably most of the time you would be like, nah, yeah, I'm maybe hungry, but I won't eat something with mold and everything. But what if all the people around you have just bread with mold? After the third day, maybe the fourth day, maybe even the second day, you will go up to them and you will be like, okay, maybe can I have just a piece of your bread with mold? I know it's not delicious, but it's like better than nothing. And that's what most people tend to do. They tend to say, hey, okay, it's better than nothing to get those needs met. Not even to get some needs met, but it's better than nothing to have like a person who I don't want to be around, or who I don't want to have around, but it's better than being alone and meeting my own needs. So if you always need someone to come in and if you always need someone to come in and meet all of those needs, you will always looking for anyone who has something to eat. But once you fill your need, when you have eaten, when you're like not hungry anymore, you will go out and someone is going to be like, I have a bread with mold. You'll be like, no thanks, I'm good. You will choose completely different. You will be like, oh, someone has an apple which looks pretty good, like, I like that. Or someone's going to have like a dessert, you will be like, oh, I want dessert for a long time, so maybe I'm going to choose them. Maybe I'm going to spend some time with them, or even not even like spend some time with them, but you will choose from a different perspective. You will choose not from survival, like, oh my god, I need this. You will be like, oh, what do I want? What do I like? What is, like, you're really deciding. Like, if you're somewhere where it's cold and you don't have anything to wear, if you're completely naked there, you will like have everything. You will just, most of the time, or like in the past, with like wars and everything, they didn't care the way they looked. Like in movies sometimes, or even not movies, but like the first human on Earth, like Neanderthalers. I'm not sure if this is the English word, but I hope you excuse me for this. They didn't care what they looked like. They needed to be functional and warm. And this is the thing. After that, after you get warm and functional, after you have something to dress, then you can start to decide, okay, how does it look better? How did I look? What do I want to wear? Like to just have any. The first step is always to just get anything to get your meat met, to get your need met. And the second step is to look, okay, how can this be even more better? How can this be more beautiful, more casual, more. How can I dress up even better? And this is the thing with your needs as well. This is the thing with relationship as well. This is the thing with friendship, even with your persona. To coming back to this loop is when you feel safe within you, when you have all these boundaries like around you and those standards where you feel safe inside, now you can decide like, hey, who do I want to be? Because now you don't need to be any role. Now you don't need to be any persona. Now you sit there and you're like, okay, I have done everything. Who do I want to be now? Now that I feel safe, now that I can relax and sit back and take some time and reflect upon, okay, who do I actually want to be? Not who do I need to be for other people? Who do I need to be to get my needs met? But who do I want to be? Who do I like to be? What qualities do I want to have? What qualities do I want to integrate? How do I want to talk to people? Because for me as well, it used to be for me as well, it used to be like a people pleaser. I have shown up like a people pleaser. I had no boundaries. I have not speaking up. I have not expressed myself. I really tend to really like being the quietest in the group, to hold the space for anyone else. And I was like, okay, I wish someone would do this for me. And once I get in a safe space, literally, and yes, doing it all by myself, because I noticed there's no one going to come to save me after I experienced that there is a person who is there for me, who's giving me so much love, showering me with literally so much love, but I'm not used to it, and I don't see it, and they cannot fill my cup because I needed to fill it, because with the whole perspective that they cannot fill it up if I do not fill it up by myself. And once I did the work, and once I sit there and I was like, hey, who do I want to be? Not just in order to survive, but who do I want to be? Yes, I want to communicate honest. I want to communicate direct. I want to communicate completely the way I think about things, in my opinion, and not to say things more beautiful or more like easygoing. Or I don't want to be easygoing. This was as well. I don't want to get easy along with anyone. If someone does not like me, I'm perfectly okay, and I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to handle this. And this was as well a journey for me too, to really say, okay, I'm able to deal with if people don't like me, if family members don't like me, if family members or friends or romantic partners don't want to keep being in my life because of the way that I am. If I'm too honest to people, for example, if I'm too direct for people, if I'm too reflect upon this, and especially the way you talk, the way you communicate, the way you do anything, the way you handle, the way you are in friendships. If people don't get along with it, if you like the persona that you are, if you like the character that you build, you will not care about if anyone else be like, hey, I don't like this. You will be like, hey, thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you so much for holding the space. Thank you so much for telling me this. Now I can, like, I don't say set you aside, but now I can have the space for someone who actually resonates with me. Having the space for someone who literally can show up in my life, for someone who is actually there for me and who values me the way I am, and not someone who does not like my boundaries like I used to before. I didn't, like I said, I didn't like to have boundaries myself, and I didn't like if someone hold the boundaries of them in front of me. I was like, what the fuck, why aren't you insulting me? Why are you treating me so bad? And I'm like, wait a moment, I'm actually the person who's not sticking to their boundaries. Like, they're just communicating this, and they're upset because they communicated, and I didn't stick up with this. And nowadays, I'm like, if someone does not stick up with me, with my boundaries, I'm going to warn you maybe one more time, but that's it. Like, that's really it, because I respect myself enough to stick up with them, and if someone does not stick up with it, that's not my fault. I don't feel personally attacked by this. I don't feel responsible for it. If I communicate that this is a boundary of me, I want to keep you in my life. If you don't stick up to it, it's your decision, it was your choice, and you made it. So there's the door, I'm good to go even without you. And you will change the way you interact with people. once you don't need anything. Imagine you would go to a store where you don't need anything. You are not hungry, you're not thirsty, you don't need the toilet, you're good. You don't need anything. You go through the store and you're like, oh, that looks nice, that looks nice. Oh, I take this, maybe I take this. Once you have this mindset within you, once you have this, it's all good by yourself. Like, not all good by yourself. You should probably go be all good by yourself. But once you're like, hey, I don't need anything from the external, whenever you go outside or interact with people, you will feel more at peace, you will feel more calm, and you will feel more love within you because you're like, hey, I have already everything, I have all my needs met, I don't need anything from you. So you will interact with more calmness, with more confidence, with more peace, with more love towards other people, and they will notice this, they will resonate with it, they will reflect it back upon you. Otherwise, imagine how when you're hungry, you go to a store and you just catch everything, you just take everything, and when someone asks you something, you're like, don't talk to me, I'm busy, I'm something, this. You interact with people completely different. And this is the thing, when you're not hungry, when you're not thirsty, someone maybe catches you in line or like crosses you in line and stands up in front of you, you won't be like, oh my god, that's so bad. You will be like, maybe they're in a rush, it's all good. Or maybe you speak to them and you're like, hey, that wasn't nice, but you don't be like, it was rude, how could you do this? You won't be angry at them because you don't have the need for it, because you're at peace with yourself and you know that their action has nothing to do with you. If they do this, it does anything, has nothing to do with your self-worth. Your self-worth does not diminish by them treating you bad. And you don't put any self-worth, you don't put any of your needs or any of your worth in the hand of other people. You're not giving them power of you, and that's why you become so calm and so peaceful and so loving towards situations. And yes, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you took so much with it, and maybe going just through the list, doing a list for yourself, and maybe knowing and seeing yourself in some of the situations. I hope it helped you, and I wish you all the best. I really hope to hear you or see you again, and see you, and hopefully see you next time. Thank you so much, and have a great day.